Hello and welcome to another stream of Rise of the Tomb Raider, doing my music-only playthrough, Phase 2 of celebrating the game's 10th anniversary. We're up to the point where the Baba Yaga DLC becomes available. There's music that is unique to that DLC. There's also music that is in the main game as well that gets used, and we're going to be covering that in this stream. I don't anticipate that it will take a long time to do that content. But then again, this playthrough, stopping and listening to the music, for those who might be new to this kind of playthrough, it's not simply playing the game as usual, but just having the music on only. It's also taking time to stop, listen to the music, wait till it either loops or stops. And if there's music that has stages to it, like for example, you might have music that when you're far away from an enemy is playing one particular piece of instrumentation, and then as you get closer, it might add new elements. And so I'm even stopping to wait to hear those new elements in that instrumentation on their own. So there will still be a lot of time-consuming stuff, but there's not anything other than the main content of the Baba Yaga DLC that I'm doing. So I'm not worried about getting all the collectibles in that area and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're up to in the game. I'm going to take a detour from the main game story and do the Baba Yaga DLC. Hello, Shaky. Welcome, dude. How's things going? I hope you're recovering well. Alright, so I've got 45 Byzantine coins. I'm not getting all of them for this playthrough. I've already done that in my 100% playthrough I did for Phase 1 of celebrating the game's 10th anniversary. So I've already gotten all that done in that playthrough. But I wanted to get the Commando outfit to make it an option for people when they redeem the outfit change. I think it was 50 Byzantine coins for that one. There's also the rope ascender, which I love to have as well. But that's more a, what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say novelty, but the priority is the commando outfit because I'd like to have viewers who want to change Lara's outfit have the most amount of outfits available to choose from as well. So when we get the amount of coins required for that, I'll be able to unlock it. Hey, Anmita, how's it going, dude? It was so funny because I fell asleep when I was watching your stream, and so today I watched the VOD back to see where you got up to in Alien Isolation. And that whole part with Waits, where he betrays you, like that whole sequence, it's one of my favorite sequences in the game. I love how intense it is, and it makes you feel helpless because you need to wait for the airlock to be ready and all that kind of stuff. But I really enjoyed checking out the rest of your stream of Alien Isolation yesterday. How's things going, dude? Shaky, rough, healing, but surviving. How are you? That's definitely understandable as well. I mean, I haven't had anything with a hernia, but I remember when I was a young kid, my grandmother, she had a hernia operation as well. So I know it can definitely be, very sort of like rough. But I'm glad to hear that you're surviving, and I hope you get 100% soon. As for me, I'm doing good, thanks, Shaky. Having a good weekend. I'm doing well in Meta, thank you. Things are going good. Hope you are too. We're going to be doing the Baba Yaga DLC content. This music we've already heard, so I'll talk over this one. Or at least I think it is it? No, I was thinking of something else. That's all good. Be able to reset it by interacting with the campfire. Cheers, Amita. Thanks, dude. You're doing well, working, watching Twitch. Oh, very nice, Amita. That's good. I hope that work is gonna go well for you today. Hope you don't have any customers that are sort of like yapping and yapping and yapping for too long. Mita, thanks. Work is good so far. Oh, very nice, dude. Fingers crossed and knock on wood that your day goes well. In Mita, you got the alien at the station yesterday, or so it seems. That is such a really good sequence, that whole scenario. It can be very, very intense too, and having to actually wait, because it's like the anticipation of the alien versus knowing that you have to wait until something else is ready before you can actually just get out of the situation. You know, I think it's very, very clever, and it's also one of the sequences that I feel really shows how having the game be a first-person game is actually more effective, because originally they were actually going to do it as a third-person experience, which I think it still could have worked, but I feel like the way that the set pieces were done, seeing it in first person is definitely a more intense way to see it. Hey there, Wicked. Welcome on in. How's things going? This Baba Yaga DLC is pretty good. Um, Overall, it's really short. Like if you were just doing the story of it, it's not too long. Um, Collectibles wise, if if you want to get this Baba Yaga DLC done and you want it to be 100% done, as in you do obviously the story component for it, but you also get all the collectibles, you need to wait until later in the game when Lara gets the grapple. It's really a wire spool, but I just call it a grapple because that's how it actually works. Because there's one collectible in the Baba Yaga DLC area that you can't access without using that grapple. And sometimes I wait until I've got it. It just depends on what you want to do. It made to the part where there was no gravity, and later when she gets in space was so intense. It really was for sure. Oh yeah. And imagine how scary that would be too. I mean, it would be scary if it was something that you had to go through without an alien that was on your tail. But then to add the fact that you've got an alien up your ass the whole time, it's like, yeah. I'm not sure how to say your name. I'll just try though. Is the J silent? So is it Hikzulol? Welcome on in. That outfit fire. It's actually one of my favorite ones. So it's Jikzu. Ah, awesome. Thanks for the correction. Welcome on in, Jikzu. Thanks for joining. And yeah, this outfit is really, really good. It's one of my favorite ones. It's called the Runner outfit, I think, or just called the Runner as well. I like the color scheme for it, and also the beanie as well. Another outfit I really like in this is the Commando one. It's what you unlock when you buy it from the shack. And me to know you wonder if the alien will be back, but you also don't want spoilers. That's definitely fair enough, for sure. In Meta, yeah, yeah, I can understand the temptation to, Google and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, taking that would definitely be a good way to do it. Wicked, super good. Since 95% of your gaming was on keyboard and mouse, playing with controller need to getting used to. Oh, that's totally fair too as well, because your muscle memory gets so used to using the keyboard and mouse that when you have to go back to controller, it'd be like a really, really weird experience. That's actually a good question, Jigsaw. I don't know if it is. Let's see, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Guess it would depend on what platform too. If you're doing it with PC, then I don't think there's any Steam sale with it at the moment. This is the PlayStation 5 version of it. Thank you, Dr. Darling, for redeeming a Rest in Peace Lara. Jigsaw, so you're on PS5. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's been a while since I bought this game, so I didn't buy it recently, so I don't know how much it might be at the time. But you never know, they might do sales here and there for it. Dr. Darling, you slept for 9 hours and now you feel like this week never happened. Oh, I don't blame you though. Like, that's a lot of hours to be able to sleep. Jigsaw, the trilogy is $50. You may just get that. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I wonder if that's the definitive edition version of all three, because that's a good bargain. So Nadia will be fine here. We'll find a spot to do rest in peace, Lara. So how would you like Lara to die, Dr. Darling? I mean, I don't know if dying by fire would have her die, or we can have her do a leap of fail from a great height. There's no wolves around presently, but we can find some. Jigsaw, yeah, it's the definitive edition Survivor Trilogy. Oh, nice. That's good. Yeah, you should get all the content with that too, hopefully. Hey there, Mr. Goatee. Welcome on in. How's things? Dr. Darling, Lara is immune to fire, so prove it. Well, it's going to be difficult. It won't be an instant thing because I can't actually turn Molotov. I can't turn these into fire yet, unfortunately. And I've already gotten her the ability to withstand or take more damage from fire and stuff. So let's see how we go. That wasn't enough to do it. Alright, so if you really want Lara to catch on fire, it'll be a slow process, but I don't mind doing it. But the best way to do it, given that I can't, because I've got there's a few bottles here that we could do Molotov cocktails with if I had the ability to do it, but I don't currently. So we'll find a campfire to stand on. Mr. Gote could always do Liam Way and get eaten by wolves. It's like just like a what's it called? Be like a banquet, a buffet, or a feast for the wolves. There we go, Dr. Darling. Thank you for redeeming the rest in peace, Lara. It took a while, but we got it. Disappointed. Thanks for redeeming that as an Arnie impression, Dr. Darling. So she is not immune to fire. Not immune, no. Alright, so because I'm doing the Baba Yaga DLC now, there will unfortunately be no way to avoid the part of the story that I'm up to from actually activating related to Jacob. So there will be some dialogue subtitles that you can see which relate to the main story and not the Baba Yaga DLC. But since this playthrough is focused on music anyway, it doesn't matter if that part of the story isn't done without doing the Baba Yaga DLC. Because I think we need to meet him. Yeah, we need to meet him over in the old Soviet base. Sorry, Jacob, but it'll be a while before we actually get to you because we'll be doing the Baba Yaga DLC. I really love the drum beats in this music here. I was wondering where the hell it went to. Hey AC. No, 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 no. No, you're not. You're not. I'm doing a music only playthrough to celebrate the game's 10th anniversary, so there's only music. I've turned the sound effects and the dialogue volume off. Oh, that's all good, dude. That's no worries. How's things? Welcome on in. We're doing the Baba Yaga DLC. No, I wouldn't call you dumb, AC, that's for sure. It's a kind of niche kind of playthrough, to be honest. And I was saying at the top of the stream too that when I do these, it's not just play through the game normally, but just with the music only. It's also stop and listen to the music because there's so many really good pieces of music in video games that can easily be shortened because you're just playing normally, and of course, you might shorten the music by just progressing where you need to go. And so, stopping and actually listening to the music can make you hear all of it and all that kind of stuff. So, I really like music in games too. You're doing good, AC. You're getting ready for sleeps. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're doing good, dude. That's really good, especially on a weekend too. I mean, every day, but especially on the weekend. I'm doing the Baba Yaga DLC, so there'll be some trippy visuals coming up. I like what they did with it. Now that could wake the dead. That's the other thing about these types of playthroughs is when there's actually no music, and then all of a sudden, boom, something happens, and there's a big music sting. That's such a funny emote, AC. Hey Keone, welcome. Hope things are going well. Well, that was that. That was that sequence. In me to Lara taking a selfie. Yeah, when I had the camera up real close in her face. Yeah. It's like, Lara, it's not time to take a selfie now. Very creepy in Mita, absolutely. Yeah, I really like that whole sequence a lot. I'm a big fan of horror stuff, so that alone is up my alley. But also, I really like surreal scenes in video games too. And it doesn't have to be like a horror game either. There can be really surreal scenes in like some of the Assassin's Creed games. For example, when Arno in Assassin's Creed Unity is going through the initiation to become an assassin. That's a very surreal kind of sequence. In Black Flag, when Edward is drunk and he's seeing visions of Bartholomew Roberts, and he's having that whole big fever dream kind of stuff. So I really like that whole sequence with Lara going through the veil there with all the light stuff going on and everything. Resident Evil Lara Croft Edition, lol. It's so funny you say that though in Meta, like there's so many sort of like connections between Tomb Raider and Resident Evil. I mean, number one, both franchises actually started in the same year, 1996. So you got that too. Both franchises were really big on the PlayStation 1, especially the early entries. You've also got the fact that Resident Evil partly inspired some choices in, or could be perceived to be inspirations from Resident Evil, with some of the fixed camera angles in the older Tomb Raider games and all that kind of stuff. And for me personally, there were two entries in each respective franchise that made me a fan of each franchise. So for Resident Evil, it was Resident Evil 3 when that first came out. That was my first Resident Evil game. And with Tomb Raider, my first Tomb Raider game was the fourth one, The Last Revelation. So that's like a personal connection between the two franchises that there is. And then you've also got like a lot of horror stuff in the older Tomb Raiders, even, like when you think about it, going into a very, very creepy, sort of like isolated location like a tomb on your own, just imagine what that would be like, all the sounds that would happen and really freak you out and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of like horror stuff in Tomb Raider as well, even though it's not a horror franchise. And me too. Also like this part a lot. Yeah, it's really effectively done, isn't it? It's really, really cool. And the music is just chef's kiss too with that. I really like music in horror stuff where it's a droning kind of sound, and then you got that sort of like piece of music that keeps going and going and going, and it sort of builds this intensity and this suspense, and you think to yourself, when is the music going to end? When is the suspense going to stop? And of course, in a video game like this, and doing this kind of playthrough, stopping and slowing things down really sort of like puts you in that stressful sort of thing a bit more as well. Alright, so I'll just read this just for people who might be still keeping track of the story. Research notes from a familiar Soviet prisoner tasked with discovering a cure for the hallucinations. It's been weeks since these bastards dragged me from the gulag, from Ivan and my daughter, to this strange vale. They have tasked me with finding some way of counteracting the unusual effects of the pollen that hangs in the air. Now I believe I have a formula that may work. An extract from the seed pods of the plant, the liver of animals that consume the flowers and have metabolized the toxins. A phenothiazine derivative. The last ingredient is a risk. They have it in large quantities around the gulag, where it is used as an insecticide. It may also act as a rudimentary antipsychotic, bearing a chemical similarity to other compounds I have studied. Or it may be poisonous. I will try the mixture on myself tonight. The thing about that experience that Lara just had with the Baba Yaga and seeing her father and seeing the gunshot and hearing it and all that kind of stuff. It's also based on her actual experience when she was a child, when she heard the gunshot of her father being killed. Now, granted, and this is a spoiler for those who haven't played these games, but in this game, Lara, and for a long time, has thought that her father actually killed himself, shot himself in the head. Um, But in the next game after this, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, she actually finds out. Well, I won't actually spoil who it is that did it, but I'll just say that she finds out in the next game after this who actually killed her father. So her father's death wasn't a suicide like she thought for all these years. But in this Baba Yaga DLC, with her seeing that hallucination and the whole thing with the sound of the gunshot ringing in her ears, it's just reliving um, in a vivid way what she had experienced earlier in her life. Hey, Ifried, welcome on in. How's things going? Welcome to my music-only playthrough of Rise of the Tomb Raider. So far, you think there might be like a problem with your audio? There isn't. I've just turned off the sound effects and dialogue and kept the music track on. Currently doing the Baba Yaga DLC content, which can be pretty trippy. Yeah, Ifried, yeah. There's some great music in this game, so I wanted to do some kind of tribute to it for its 10th anniversary. There will be music, of course, that will actually be repeated throughout the game. So whenever there's music like that, I'll still talk over it and stuff. Yeah, for it to think that this game is a decade old is insane. It really, truly is. It's just crazy how quickly time can fly. And I think obviously one of the reasons why is because there's so many things that grab our attention that when something new comes out that we want to experience, then we experience it for as much as we want. And then once it's finished, it might just become something that you revisit every now and again. And then there's other stuff that you gravitate towards, and then years and years go by, and then all of a sudden, one of the games that you might have really enjoyed back when it came out is now 10, 15, 20 years ago. And Assassin's Creed as a franchise is going to be celebrating its 20th anniversary, not next year, but the year after that. Oh, nice, Ifriat. This was like one of the first games you played when you built your first gaming PC. Oh, very cool. It's such a really good looking game as well. Like I think aesthetically as well, it's just really really good. The environments and the attention to detail, it's really really good. And Meta, that reminded you of when you bought your gaming laptop. Seeing this game in such detail felt like you'd been living in a cave. Yeah, the other thing is too, like you had even like in terms of consoles, you had the next generation. of consoles that was, well and truly been established at that point. But it's always cool to see the progression and the evolution of things too. Like you look at the game previous to this one, and even though there's only a 2 year difference, it's just such a massive, massive improvement in fidelity and quality of graphics and stuff. Hello there, Sage. How's things been? Sage, you've been good. You've been playing Last of Us on hardest difficulty, been nice. Glad to hear that you're going good, Sage. So how is it on that difficulty? Because I know that it's is it called Grounded, like it was with their Uncharted games? Because yeah, it's interesting when you play a game on the hardest difficulty because sometimes it can feel like the game cheats. Hey there, Extreme. Good morning to you. Welcome on in. How's things? Extreme, not so good. Yesterday, unfortunately, your cat had to be put down, put to sleep. He was dying of old age. I'm so sorry to hear about that, Extreme. That would be really, really rough to have to go through as well. He was 18 and almost 19 years old. Such a shame. I hope you have some really good memories of your cat and that through this difficult time. It's not easy, of course, but hopefully you can remember a lot of those good times that you had with your cat. It can be very, very, like, yeah, you have such a connection. It's not just an animal. Becomes part of the family as well. So sorry to hear about that, Extreme. Well, that's good that you've got a lot of good memories. That's awesome. It'd be really good to be able to actually relive a lot of positive memories like that as well. In Me Too, the game always cheats on the hardest difficulty. Yeah, it's like we're going to do something that we don't normally get to do against the player, but we're going to be able to do it anyway, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sage, how many difficulties does Tomb Raider have, and what's the hardest you've done? So, the hardest one that I've done isn't actually the hardest one. It's the next one under. Um, but yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider difficulty levels. Let me see. Um, there should be a wiki that has information on that. Here we go. All right, so Rise of the Tomb Raider. So the easiest is Adventurer, and the hardest is Extreme Survivor. So Adventurer, combat has aim assistance, enemies have lower health and damage. On the next one up, which is Tomb Raider difficulty, combat has aim assistance disabled. Enemies have normal health and damage. Then after that, you have Seasoned Raider. Combat has aim assistance disabled. Health regeneration only happens outside of combat. Enemies have increased health and damage, and senses as well. Then you've got Survivor difficulty. Combat has aim assistance disabled. Health regeneration is disabled. Enemies have increased health and damage, and increased senses. More difficult enemies will be present. So basically, you get more difficult enemy types to be present, a lot more often and earlier as well. Fewer resources and upgrades are more expensive, and campsites actually use resources at the first time. So when you first come across a campsite and Lara sets up a campsite, it actually uses resources for that. And then Extreme Survivor has everything that Survivor difficulty has, except they add on top game saves only at base camps. So if it's been a long time since you went to a base camp and then you die, well, that's a lot of game that you have to redo. So I haven't played it on Extreme Survivor yet, but I've played it on Survivor though. Extreme, he wanted to walk outside with you again. Oh, yeah. That'd be the other thing too, getting so used to routines and things like that as well. Hey there, Etone. You played Cyberpunk on the hardest difficulty, and it's not worth doing again, lol. Hard is enough of a challenge that won't kill the fun. That's always the difficult part, isn't it? Because you still want to have fun, but you don't want that fun to be at the cost of your sanity or extreme frustration. Sage, you found very hard on Cyberpunk, not hard after a while. That can be good though too. Like as soon like once you get used to how it all works and how different it might be to other difficulties, and then you get to a point where that difficulty just becomes normal. Interesting. I didn't actually know you could break out of the animation when Lara actually wipes the logo or whatever you call it, the crest. I was just pressing it because when I do a playthrough where I'm not actually worried about listening to the contents of journals and stuff, but I want to just get the collectible, because every time you pick up collectibles like that, you get XP. I just do that out of habit, and I just keep on pressing the button to exit out of the actual journal that you might find. So I just instinctually did that with that particular interaction and didn't realize Lara could actually break off of it. So that's really good. Not that it really like makes the game any better or anything being able to do that, but there's little quirky stuff and little things that you don't necessarily figure out because you might not have yet actually put yourself in a situation or gotten yourself into a situation where you decide to press something different or do something different, and then you're like, oh, didn't know that was a thing. It's like with Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelations. Until I did a playthrough where I wanted to read pretty much everything, including inventory items and stuff, after all these years, I didn't know until recent playthroughs that the medicine that Ezio uses when he's injured isn't some kind of liquid that he drinks. It's actually smelling salts. So that's something I didn't know until I just decided to read all the information about all the items and stuff. Music's still going. It's another piece of music that has a great drum beat to it. Thanks Inmeta for redeeming the random Red Dead 1 or 2 quote. Any preference for which one? If it's Red Dead 1 or 2? Oh, nice Inmeta. Thank you, dude. Alright, so I've got a Red Dead 2 quote. You know how it is. People is happy to borrow off someone like me, but more enthusiastic paying back to someone like you. Of course, who are they? Let me see. A Chick Matthews works at Guthrie Farm. He's a hand, I believe. Mr. Roble, the small holder at Painted Sky, runs the operations there. Badly. Miss Lily Millet is a ranch maid up at Emerald Ranch. And here was me believing Dutch's bluster about us helping folk. It's legal work, Mr. Morgan. Debtors belong in prison. We are doing them a favor. Aye, and I'll make sure they see it in them terms. Put the debts in the deed box and try not to kill them. It's very bad for business. That is from Red Dead Redemption 2 with Herr Strauss, or Herr Strauss, I should say, getting Arthur to start getting some of the debts collected. Thanks for redeeming that, Inmeta. Hey there, Senny. Good day to you, dude. How's things going? Oh, the music playthrough is going really good. We did the Baba Yaga DLC content where Lara first experiences the hallucination, and we collected all the resources now that we need for the next part of that. So that's what I'm currently up to, all the Baba Yaga stuff. But yeah, it's been going really well. That whole sequence where Lara is going through the creepy forest with all the different light visuals and stuff. The music in that was just so good. Very atmospheric and very horror-like as well. So it was really cool. Yeah, and me too. There's so many scenes from Red Dead Redemption 2. Um, Online, you can actually find the entire script. So I'll just post a link to that in chat. Crooked, going good, thanks. Just had some breakfast and going to take Dogosino to the vet for some vaccination shots in a bit. Glad to hear it's going well and that you're enjoying the music. That's awesome that you're going good, Crooked. And I really hope that things go well with Nalu at the vet as well. It's always good to get those vaccination shots sorted and that way be ready. Yeah, it's really cool. I was talking about how It's one of those sequences that I really like because, I mean, the music's great, of course, but the imagery, how surreal it is and all that kind of stuff. I just love, and that's one of the things that's been great when games have gotten more advanced with graphics and what kinds of effects they can actually do. Like I remember getting chills seeing like Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time's special effects happening, and that was back in 1998 when that game came out. And while I still do get chills from that, it's mainly from nostalgia, but seeing the evolution of how advanced and what they can do with graphics too, as well in those sort of instances, like using different effects. Like Remedy does an amazing job with their lights and all that kind of stuff in their games too, as well. Just creating this really sort of like surreal element to everything. Oh, nice and Meta. You've come across random videos from the actor that plays Arthur in Red Dead 2. Very cool. Yeah, I like to watch sometimes the conventions that the actors appear at. There was a really good one with him, with Roger Clark and Rob Wiedoff, who plays John Marston. They have a really good rapport with each other too, you know. And that was the thing. It's like with Lord of the Rings, all the actors who worked on that, they didn't just become, friends just for the duration of the filming. They actually became long-time friends to this day. So that'd be really cool working on a project for so long and then having that happen. And it comes across the same way as the cast of Red Dead Redemption. You know, they just seem to have such a great time when you see them at conventions and stuff. He is in Meter, yeah, he really is. Yeah, very funny too, as well. And he also plays the games as well. Like he talks often about how he really loved playing Red Dead Redemption 1 and to actually get to play a character in that franchise, later. Like, imagine that, like anyone, imagine that you're playing like a game that you really enjoy, and then a few years later, you're actually doing something with the next entry or something. Or that kind of stuff would really feel really cool. It's like, Lara, go home, you're drunk. In Meet, you also saw a video of the actor that voices Geralt. He said, if you think Witcher 4 is woke, go and read the books. Now, that's actually something I haven't done, is read the books, come to think of it. Because I didn't actually even know that the franchise existed until the third one came out. And I was watching an Australian game review show called Good Game, and they were talking about and showing The Witcher 3. And I was like, oh, I'd never heard of this franchise before. Maybe I might have actually seen the front cover artwork of Witcher 1 and 2 in video game stores and stuff, but I probably just, it didn't grab my attention to even have a look at the back of the case or anything like that. And it wasn't until the Netflix series, the first season of it came out, and I saw that, that it made me interested in the franchise itself. So I thought I may as well play Witcher 3, but then I decided, because it was based on figuring out what I had access to. So initially I just thought, well, I'll just access Witcher 3, because that's all I had access to was, that. And then I was like, oh, it's a PC only game. That's fair enough. So got that, and then, Witcher 3, it was like, I could play it on the Xbox. And then I was like, oh, Witcher 2 is actually on Xbox 360. I could play that. And then I was like, oh, Witcher 1 is on PC. It's old enough. I could actually play it on my PC, on my laptop. So I thought, I'll actually play it from the first game and do 1, 2, and 3 as well. So I was glad I did, even though 1 is terribly, terribly structured with the quests and all that kind of stuff. But what I did like about it was enough to make me want to stick through and actually finally get it done. And I really liked the world and the story and the acting and all that kind of stuff. So I really got drawn in those aspects. And then I played 2, which was a massive improvement on the areas that 1 struggled with, but I still didn't feel it quite hit the potential that it could. And then when I played Witcher 3, it was like, whoa, holy shit. Now I understand why people were so hyped about it, back when it came out as well. But yeah, I haven't actually read the books about that, and I don't know. I think anything can be taken to the extreme. It doesn't matter what it is. And I've seen people get upset if there's a female character as the main character. I'm like, really? Like, I guess if you don't like female characters, that's fair enough. But like, whenever I've seen a character in a game, um, what grabs me about them is, are they interesting? Like, is there some kind of hook that the character has that gets me invested in them, where it's like, that's a really cool character that I want to see how things pan out for them. I want to see if they do well. I mean, the thing is too, like with a lot of games that let me choose whether I play as a male or a female, like I've chosen to play as a female heaps of times. Like in Mass Effect, for example, I played through as female Shepard for the 3 games as well. When I do my playthroughs again of those games, I'm actually going to play as male Shepard because I'd like to see the performance and see how different it is and all that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, I haven't read the books of The Witcher. I wouldn't mind at some point. So you've read them all, in Meta. Are they sort of like, have they been translated into English, or in Meta you don't have a problem playing as either male or female? Yeah, me neither. In Meta, you read them in English. They're really good. Oh, cool. Because I think I've read a little bit about certain elements of Geralt's past, as well as like with Triss and Ciri and Yennefer and all that. But not enough to get like, as much of an understanding as you would if you read the novels and stuff. But I was just sort of curious about certain things. Um, Certain characters that appeared in 3 where I was like, oh, I wonder if they were in the books or not. in Meta. 3 of them are almost all about Ciri. Oh yeah. I remember when I watched season 1 of The Witcher, and this was before I played any of the games, and there was that scene where Ciri first unleashes the, I don't know exactly what you call it, but when she really, really yells really loudly, and I thought that was such an epic moment. So in Witcher 3, when, and this is a spoiler for people who haven't played it, but when a certain character dies, and Ciri's reaction, I knew what was coming. I was like, and I already got chills before it happened, and I'm even thinking about it now and getting chills, but just her reaction to seeing that happen and her yelling and that in the same sort of way, I was like, very powerful kind of moment. It made it so true. You felt the same, and that made you read all of them. It's really cool when something like that happens because it gets you really invested and you look forward to finding out what happens next. And keep your interest as well, because so much stuff can just go nowhere, and then you lose interest, and then you're not really worried about what happens next, and you might just abandon things right there. In Mita, you also like how faithful CDPR stayed to the books. If you pay attention to what Geralt says when he confesses to the girl that helps him dreaming about Ciri, you can feel the emotion in Geralt's voice. All that Geralt said happened in the books. That's a really cool way to bring things from the books into the games as well, because people who had read the books and then played the games could have some kind of like point of reference to remember. And so people who hadn't read the books but then played the games, if they decide to read the books, there might be things that they go, so this is what was being referred to in the games about this event, and this is giving extra context to other elements and stuff like that. That can be the great thing about media that is sort of like a sequel or a prequel to something that already exists. It creates this sort of like situation where it doesn't matter which way you come at it, you can still get a really cool experience with the story and all that kind of stuff. It's like with Red Dead 1 and 2. You can play 2 first, and then when you play 1, when things are mentioned, you actually have memory of the things that actually happen in Red Dead 2. When you play Red Dead 1 first, and then you play 2, then you start to piece together, so when that was being mentioned in Red Dead 1, this is what was being thought by the character, and all that kind of stuff.